Hey guys, so I'm here at work. It's been a few days since I vlogged because I've just been going through some stuff. So this vlog is going to be mostly just me talking, which I'm sorry if that's boring. But yeah, so I will talk to you guys after work, so see you later. So I am now on my lunch break. Gonna head home, see my hubby, and get some lunch. I am not gonna tell you guys stories yet about the past few days because I only get 30 minutes for lunch and I'm gonna spend it with Jake. But I will tell you guys after I get off work. Jake is going skateboarding today with a friend, and then after today, that friend is moving to Idaho, so Jake won't get to see him very often again after that. So they'll be hanging out probably like all night. So it'll probably just be you and me for most of the day. And I might go to my mom's after work today because I don't want to just sit at home. So I'll keep you updated. I am finally off of work, and I am at Ridley's, it's a grocery store, picking up some chicken and some milk so I can make dinner tonight. And so I will tell you my stories when I get home. I'm just leaving the grocery store right now. It is time to make dinner. So while I'm setting up for dinner, I'm going to tell you the stories that I was meaning to tell you. So on Saturday, because the last time I recorded was Friday. So Saturday, I got home from work at 3, and then my mom came up. I'm so mixed up. My mom came up and took us to Tucano's, and that was really good. And then she came back here and she helped me clean my overwhelmingly messy house, so it looks a lot better now. So then me and Jake just kind of hung out. Then on Sunday, we woke up and we went to church, and we were actually on time for church. And we only went to sacrament meeting, and then we came back here. And then we just kind of hung out for a while, and then we went to Jake's parents' house at 2:30, and we had delicious tacos. If you guys remember, I talked about making tacos, like Jake's mom made them a couple weeks ago in one of my vlogs, and they are so good. And then I went to work from 4 to 10. So it actually wasn't awful. Honestly, out of all the other days working, I would prefer to work on Sundays. Not that I would. I'm not gonna continue to work on Sundays because I don't work on Sundays. Sundays is family day, in my opinion. And, but yeah, I like working on Sundays the best. So I came home about 10 o'clock, and then we ordered pizza because I was just hungry and really in the mood for pizza. And then we just laid in bed, and we watched our show, and we went to bed. Then yesterday sucked. So I didn't have work yesterday, And I just had a really, really rough day. Um, so most of you don't know this. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook or just friends with me in real life know this. But for everyone else, you don't know this. um, so on December 14th, I found out that I was pregnant. And then, um, like a week later, found out that I was having a miscarriage. The miscarriage actually started like 2 days after I found out I was pregnant, but I didn't realize it was a miscarriage until a week later. So that night, um, Jake's dad came over and gave me a blessing, and that was so helpful. And then this is not part of why I was upset, but just kind of what happened. So then that Friday, I had a doctor's appointment to go get my blood test, or to go get my blood drawn. And so I was on my way back to go tell my manager that I had to go so I could go to this appointment. And I had to get the RhoGAM shot and everything too. So as I was walking back to the stockroom, literally I was like 5 steps away from the stockroom, I get a call from my sister. And I answered it quickly because I was still at work. And I was like, hey, I'm at work. Can I call you back in just a second? And she says, no, you can't. And I was like, oh, okay. And she said that my dad and my little brother had just gotten in a really bad car accident. It took me a second to actually understand what she meant, because she said my dad's name, and I was like, hold on, who's that? And I was like, oh, wait. But so she was like, yeah, they just got in a really bad accident. I don't really know much other than that. Your dad's in the hospital. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, what hospital is he at? And she said, well, this hospital down by their house. And I was like, okay, I'm on my way. I have to go down that way. I'm literally going to that exact same hospital anyway for this doctor's appointment. So I'll be there in like an hour. And so I was like bawling at this point. And so I walked into my manager, and they were just like, because I was like sobbing, and they were just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And they thought it was, I was just upset about the miscarriage or something. And so I walked in, they were like, are you okay? I was like, my dad just got in a really bad car accident. I have to go. And my manager just hugged me, and she was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's okay, I have to go. And she's like, okay, go, 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 go. So I left, and I called Jake, and I was like, okay, well, my dad just got in a really bad car accident, and can you come? I'm on my way to pick you up. Can you get off of work? And so he was like, no, I can't. He called me back, and he's like, no, I can't. I'm the only person up front today, so I can't leave. And I was like, oh, great. Okay. Wonderful. So I had been in contact with my mom a little bit, talked to her to see how she was doing. Obviously, she was a wreck. But yeah. So I was driving to the hospital, trying to get there as quick as I could, and I pulled up, and I ran in and went to go get my blood drawn because the office that I was going to closed at 4:30, and so I had to get that done first. And it's a good thing I did, because I was actually dealing with stuff with my dad till like 7, and they didn't reopen again until Monday, which was, it was either Christmas or Christmas Eve, so they wouldn't have even been open that day. So I had to get it done that day. So I went and got my blood test done, and then I went in and was like, okay, well, I need my RhoGAM shot. So I sat there for a good 20 minutes waiting for them to give me my shot. And I was kind of like, okay, well, I need you to hurry. So I went up to the lady at the front, and I was the only one there. So I went up to the lady at the front and I said, my dad just got in a really bad car accident and is down in the ER right now. If there's any way that we could make things go a little bit faster, that would be wonderful. And she said, okay, well, we're just trying to look for the record that says that you need the ROGAM shot. So, like, just give us a minute. And I said, okay. I said, don't rush, don't whatever, just, I needed you to know the situation and that I need to get through as quickly as possible. And she was like, okay. And I went back, and they had to give me the shot, like, right above my butt. And so the nurse asked me to hold my shirt up, so I was like, okay. But I was using the wrong arm, and so it was just in the way for her. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I went to go change arms, and I punched the nurse in the face. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So she gave me the shot, and I was on my way. So I went down to the ER, and I actually had to drive all the way around the hospital and get to the other side of the hospital. And so I went to the ER, and my brother was there. So I was like, okay, awesome, I'll just go back with him. So I did, and I got back there, and my dad was in a neck brace, and you could just tell he was in a lot of pain. So what had happened was he was going to Costco, and the light turned green, and he went straight through, and somebody ran a red light going 60 and T-boned him. And so he's going straight, and so the guy hit him on the driver's side, and so he went like that and hit the car, like the back of the car, hit the car next to him, which was the left-hand turner. And the guy that hit my dad continued down the street because he was just going so fast, and he went down the street and hit a sign. Good ways down the street. He was going fast. And so my dad lost consciousness, and my little brother was in the car with my dad, and he is 12. My brother was kneeling down in the road next to my dad, just praying, because he couldn't wake my dad up. And for a 12-year-old boy, that is terrifying, not being able to wake up your dad. That's terrifying. So all of the airbags went off, all the side airbags, except for the passenger, because no one was sitting in the passenger seat, so yeah. But so all the airbags went off, and so some lady came and grabbed my brother. It was actually the lady who was behind the car that hit my dad. Came and got my brother, and he was like, come get in my car, we'll just come wait in the car. I dropped my phone. Come wait in the car for your mom, or whoever's coming. My little brother was like, no, I have to stay with my dad. And she was like, I have a puppy. Come pet my puppy. Come be in my car and pet my puppy. And he was like, okay. And my brother has extreme anxiety, and we have a service dog at our house for that. And so he was like, okay, I'll come pet the puppy and help me calm down and everything. Mom got a call from my dad's phone and was like, hi, or are you my dad's wife? And she was like, yes, I am. And he was like, okay, well, he's just been in a really bad accident. I can't get him to wake up. We've called 911 and they're on their way. And my mom was like, oh my gosh. And she said, "Where's my son? My son was with was with him. Where's my son?" And he said, I don't know. I haven't seen him. I don't know." And so my mom was freaking out. And then my mom got a call from the lady that my little brother was with and said, "There's been an accident. I have your son. And it's just at this place and this place. Just come." And so there was actually a gas station on the corner, and they gave my little brother some hot chocolate. So that was really nice. So my mom got there, and because of how the airbags went off, my mom thought that my dad had died. Because when somebody dies in a car accident, they drape the car. And that's what it looked like. So my mom was freaking out. And so she went up. They wouldn't let her go up to the car, but she went over to one of the paramedics and said, this is my husband. Is he okay?" And he was like, "No, well, we haven't gotten him out of the car yet. We just don't want to make any more injuries. We just haven't touched him. We haven't gotten him out of the car yet. We've been monitoring him, though." And so my mom watched them pull him out of the car. He still was out of consciousness, and this was probably a good 20 minutes after the accident had happened. He still hadn't woken up yet. And so my mom was like freaking out. So they got him out of the car and put him on a gurney and put him in the ambulance. And the paramedic came over to my mom and said, "You need to stay calm, and you need to not freak out, and you need to do that for your kids," because she had my little sister in the car too. And he said, you need to do this for your kids. You cannot freak out, and you need to stay strong for them. My mom said, "Okay." And he said, "All right. Are you ready for me to tell you this now then?" And she said, "Yes." And they said, "Okay. He is in critical condition, and we are going to take him to this hospital." And they said, "That will stay the same unless we turn on the lights. If we turn on the lights, something has happened." And yeah. So they said, if we turn on the lights, don't follow us. Just keep going the same speed that you're going. And he told her to say some stuff to the kids if that happened, to like keep them calm and everything. And yeah. So so they ended up not needing to turn the lights on the way to the hospital, which was good. So then they got to the hospital, and my dad had broken his neck in 2 places and had broken 3 ribs and had 3 brain bleeds. So, no good. My dad actually he woke up a little bit in the ambulance. He said he remembers a little bit of that. But then a couple hours later, he didn't remember that at all. And then when they got him into the ER, he was in and out of consciousness. And yeah, so he had a heart attack about a year ago. And so he was on heart medication. He was on blood thinners. And they had to get him off of the blood thinners, or else they wouldn't be able to get his brain to stop bleeding. So, because they had to take him off of the blood thinners and the heart medication, he was having really, really bad heart troubles. So they were just about to move him up to the ICU, and he had like a pre-heart attack. And so yeah, his heart was just under a lot of stress. He was under a lot of stress, and he he didn't know what happened. He doesn't even remember, even to this day, 2 months later, he doesn't even remember the car accident. He doesn't remember it at all. And he told us that the only way that he would have known that he was in a car accident is because he was in the hospital. That's all he knows. So my dad would ask, where's my little brother? Where was my little brother at? Where's his son at? Is he okay? And everyone would tell him, he's fine. He's just worried about his dad, and telling him about the lady that helped him out and how he was just sitting by the car praying. And my dad cried when we told him what he did. My dad was just, that was a hard day. And then, so they got him up to the ICU, and he had to stay in the hospital for a few days. So they told him that if his heart would be good and he didn't have issues for a certain amount of time, then they would move him to a regular room, and so he wasn't in the ICU. So they actually didn't move him to a regular room until Christmas night, the night of Christmas, and which was kind of sad. Like, my dad didn't get to be home for Christmas. Like, that would have been, I can't even imagine how he felt. But so they moved him to a regular room that night, and then the next day he got to go home. So that was good. He still can't drive. It is middle of February, and this happened right before Christmas, and he still can't drive yet. So he's been a lot better. He's getting better. But yeah, that was a really long tangent that I just went on, but it tied in. So I was just really upset about the whole miscarriage thing last night. And I just was having a hard time with it. And, yeah. So me and Jake ended up going out to dinner. And we just sat and we talked. And, yeah. So I just want to say, I'm so grateful for my husband. Even though sometimes I can be so selfish and such a brat, I love my husband. So yeah, now 25 minutes after I said I was going to make dinner, I need to go make dinner. But now I have content for the vlog today, so that's great. P.S. I did have a Band-Aid on my finger when we started this. I took it off because it's obnoxious. But at work today, I stabbed my finger and it was bleeding, and so that's why I had a Band-Aid on. Jake came home, and his buddy came over, and we just kind of hung out. And then his buddy went home for a little bit, so we went shopping, and then came back and ate dinner. And then his friend left after dinner, and now we're going to bed. So, see you guys tomorrow.